children and our future children. We want them to have a life. And we don't know the way that the science is. If you've looked at the science, we're talking, some people talk about 50 or 60 years, but really, I'm wondering about, my youngest grandson is 13, and he'll be 33 in 20 years' time, and I don't know what kind of planet we will have at that stage. I don't know. I just pray that we are doing enough these days to make sure that there's a difference. And don't think we can't make a difference, because we can. We can make a big difference individually as well as together. I think that's about enough to tell you why the shoes are here, or except to say that apart from our future, these shoes represent thousands and thousands of children who have already died because of the climate, because of global warming. People in the southern hemisphere are dying now because of forest fires, because of flooding, and of course we've had flooding in this country, but mainly because of drought. Drought is a terrible thing in the developing world, and you can't have cows. The cows have got nothing to drink, and of course you can't grow crops. So that's a second thought for what's happening today. So I've got some brilliant people to speak today, and the one who's going to speak first is Mary Foy, the Member of Parliament for this area, and she so kindly accepted our invitation to come along and speak on our behalf. So can I give it up for Mary, please?
The climate crisis doesn't get mentioned enough, and it's not taken seriously enough in politics. Everything we do as a society should be focused on improving the future, to make the world a better, fairer and safer place to live. We cannot do this unless we take the climate emergency seriously. In the last election, the Labour Party had a forward plan for the climate. The Green New Deal was one of the most excited policies that I was willing to happen, and it went down really very well on the doorstep. It promised to transform our economy in order to prioritise the environment and to eliminate the deep-rooted inequality that exists in society and indeed across the world. It was a policy that offered genuine solutions to the crisis, one that put people before profit and the environment before big business. Even though we lost the election, it's vital that the commitment to tackling the climate crisis remains. The Labour Party must be ambitious and progressive in its climate policy, because the very future of the planet depends on it. And whilst the coronavirus pandemic has caused incredible damage to our society and the economy, the rebuild offers us an opportunity. Rather than building things back to the way they were, we should be building a new society with equality and the environment at the heart of this. We simply cannot afford to go back to business as usual. Unfortunately, while we're in opposition, the Labour Party can't really affect the structural change that we need. But that doesn't mean that we're powerless and have to sit by and watch this government destroy the planet. But in order to force change, we must keep the pressure on this government and keep them accountable and honest. We must make them listen to the concerns of millions of people in the UK who know that we're running out of time to tackle the climate crisis. And whilst this is going to be tough, we can take encouragement from the young people, the student activists who last week pressed the government into a U-turn on their exam results. They knew that they'd suffered an injustice, and they knew that they had to force change quickly. They took their argument to the streets, to their MPs, and they made people listen. And it's such a shame that people have to keep protesting against the government in order to protect their futures. But the reality is On issues that really concern us, we're going to have to fight them every step of the way to create a better and fairer and more sustainable society. And I'll keep pushing the government to improve their approach to the climate. But in order for them to really listen, we need sustained pressure from the public. The government listened to the students not because they had a desire to do the right thing, but because they feared the political damage it would cause. And as I said to the young people last week, when the government try to take away your future, you threaten to take away theirs. So keep protesting and make those people in power listen. Thank you.